great years, some of the best that we've had in a while. Sorry for the slow start. I'm going to add a thought here. I'm glad the comment section works again. I found a way to be able to see it, even though it didn't show in the previous one. I just was laying on the chair a moment ago, and he's still there, so that's good. But sometimes it gets a little hyper. I kind of want to grab the thing I sometimes wear, but I don't want to get up again. I do have this if I really want to wear it, but I don't want to get too warm, and it's just kind of draped, and then yeah, I'm all right. But anyway, so I found a way, but now it's behaving again. Probably another thing. You just did a 5 hour stream, really. But people do that, people that have the free time or are having a relaxed, low key day. Bad weather. Busy lives, but having a day, available to do so, and happening to be a content creator, they might roll a lot. So, I don't know if I'll come up with a different title or not. Maybe I rushed into this because, like I say, as great as it was, and there wasn't as much activity as I would have hoped, but there was some, and I appreciate it. As great as it was, maybe I should have waited till I had some song ideas to do it, but I don't seem to get them very often. It's weird. But yeah, maybe I should have waited till I had this a bit. But I've always loved to show the process. I've loved to do the process live. I've loved to have this conversation during it. Doesn't happen super often, but it does happen. And I don't know. And then also, yeah. So I don't know. What happened was I was listening to, and he actually inspired me to do the one the other day too, but it wasn't musical. I was listening to a fellow YouTuber's song. Listened to 3 of his originals. Came across one. Made me think of a friend. Now, I talk about her. I continue her legacy fairly often. Think about her. And by the way, I should also state that okay, didn't watch that much. That anybody who has doing talk about that. It's really it's almost always only happening when which is a lot of time, and otherwise I'm distracted, and they understand and respect that, I think, too. Or sometimes I can feel it kind of coming about, and that's all I love, because to show that it's possible, to show that it can be white light healing energy, and that I'm a good person, and that this is helpful for me, and maybe it'll be helpful for you as well. So anyway, I was watching this guy did this song. I came to a document. I've had open for a while. Well, this tab I haven't looked at recently, but I have a few of them open, and there were some lyrics that I probably wrote maybe a month ish ago. Definitely not under a month. And yeah, that's the one thing. I was looking for songwriters on the previous video. I don't remember. And if you are one, I recommend you check it out. Truth be told, because nobody said that they were one, I didn't get hugely into the topic. So I didn't mean to mislead. It's just, you know, usually with the topic, I start off on topic, and then the chat or just the fact that I'm rolling for a while it goes into other topics. And I think the only reason that it didn't happen with the one I just did is because it was looking for. I mean, anybody was welcome, which is good because I think we had two people that weren't songwriters. Um, but anybody is welcome to. What's this one? I respect it. Look at it. Um, um, uh, uh, yeah. Anyway, so but it was kind of for a specific audience. There's a part of me that wants to go back and uh, edit that. That's right, I don't even think I'm hearing his music. Go back and edit um, the title. Oh, it also says M random chat, etc. Q&A, blah blah. So if it was all about songwriting, even though that's a very diverse world, then it wouldn't have necessarily been as random, right? Anywho, so uh, should this be the one that I possibly uh, I don't know. You see, when I didn't do that karaoke tribute, I thought maybe not. Maybe not. It's been almost a year. End of January, it'll be a year. Um, Part of me thinks they would think I'm glad that you're processing your feelings this way, and that you still feel some sort of connection with her. But I did try to say this. She didn't respond. Doesn't mean she didn't agree or not, I suppose. But um, and I don't know. Most of me feels like it. Maybe this is just me feeling a little selfish. I don't know. Most of me feels like it wouldn't be a disrespect to her to. Oh, did he? Wouldn't be a to include her photo in this, and some people may recognize her. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of variety in people, but there's also a lot of similarities in their look. But then I don't know. So I'm just kind of looking for a moment here because I might want to add a thumbnail to this one just to stand out, and so that it's easier to. Well, I mean, I could look at the title. I suppose it's true, but it's the second time I'm seeing Maxie now today. By the way, if you're putting a comment and I'm not well, I'd rather wait till there's more people here to say this, but hopefully that is working again. That's all I'll say. Um, and as far as I did put one with I mean, that is from a number of years ago. So she almost looks younger. Like, I don't see the nose ring, but maybe I just don't see it. So I might ask for your input on something here. I'm really not sure. I have a friend that passed away a while ago, almost a year. She actually passed at the end of January. Okay, it looks like you've left, so never mind. One, two. Maybe that's not the question. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yes, and she's saying, about that fashion event. You had a good time though, didn't you, bud? I mean, sorry, it didn't amount to much. That does not mean that future things you go to, will just be kind of a one-off and not great networking opportunities. Please remember that. Please try not to think otherwise. But you know, you had a good time, right? You can now look at it and say, is that the type of event I'd want to do again in the future? And to be honest, it was so fast paced. I mean, yeah, there wasn't the networking, which annoyed me. But other than that, yeah, the pace of it, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. See, I look at this picture and I don't think it looks that much like her. But I think it looks enough like her, and I know it is her, to say, okay, I'll go with it then. So, okay, I'll go with it then. So we go over here. Now, boom. Boom. This will be for anybody who sees it, while scrolling on a computer or whatever. Because, yeah, I don't think you can scroll live streams otherwise. Anybody scratching out there? Felt like there was a lot more to see when I did this before. I may be just tired and processing it less well. I mean, I hadn't been up long earlier then either, but okay. So I was just adding a thumbnail to this, and I heard our dog scratching at the floor earlier. Do you know why a dog does that, by the way? To get plenty of exercise and attention. If it's not to try and get attention, it's not. I don't really know why it is. Just too dark to have that off, rather. It was somebody that briefly, when I came back from doing that, but yeah, it was me. She's joking, but it couldn't be, so it's just a joke. How do you know? I guess I don't. I don't know. Anywho, so, but very likely not. I'm not that gullible. Anywho, so I am pretty tired from the other one. I don't want to make him with eyes is because it's going to take him a bit longer than I think he thinks it'll be, a little bit harder than I think he thinks to get home after work in this weather by bike. But so you didn't want to ask anybody. Didn't think we were getting that much more. Like we do that much more by then. So yeah. The dog may have just went and settled back down out there, but I sort of have to run upstairs for a moment. So Hearing noise out there. I'm not really sure what it is. Oh. Since I'm up, nose that stick with music. But I truly am quite tired from earlier. If G was home, I'd be totally ready for the nap. But then again, I have to watch my throat. I have to watch my sinuses. So I'll just sit here and talk a bit more. It makes sense, doesn't it? No, but I'm going to pace myself here. So some of this is actually not kind of the song about my friend. When I went, like I say, to the document, there was already some lyrics written there. And I figure maybe I'll read them too. Since we're here, right? I wonder where that one's it. Okay. Bright and early autumn sun is back. I'm ready to party, so let's get on with that. I'm nourished with these good times I've been having, but also longing for. They haven't been all that often anymore. Which is mostly true, but things got a little stagnant, and I'm wondering my purpose. As lately the years have went by, and I wonder why I was born, but this is why. To meet all the great people I have and will meet, to sing the songs and dance, to enjoy romance. Just like a sister to me, like separately you sister, son, a significant other, a daughter, a great singer, and waiting for the best. She was kind and great, and one of the best. She kept her, D, so A-E-D. She kept her friends and let grudges away. Maybe she didn't get why certain things happened, but one day passed away. Passed away of diabetes. So much changed in the years. She did her very best. She knew she was going through. strangers too. You know, I haven't been rolling super long. Part of me is getting into the mode again and wanting to, and thinking it's still an hour before G's going to be home, maybe a little bit more. But I did do a record long stream. I did. And it's good to have the short ones every now and then. I could never do 2 to 5 minutes, or that. But yeah, so yeah. So I'm going to keep this short. I will try and do more music in the upcoming podcast. Feel free to put song requests, suggestions. And again, if you are a songwriter, I recommend to you to look at my previously recorded live. It is quite long, as I mentioned, but you don't have to watch all of it. You can watch some, or with that one, I would even say none, because my real questions for songwriters or writers that came up as I was setting up that stream are in the description. And so I think that that's kind of the best thing the best spot to tell you to go looking. And then you can comment on that video or this one, whichever you find easiest. Your thoughts on the questions that I asked. The first one that I mentioned is not actually related to songwriting, and it's a little bit random, but something made me think to ask it. I was inspired to ask it, so I did. So, yeah. And I'm curious your thoughts on this one too, obviously. Okay. And there was something, I can't remember what, which was, I accidentally looked at something because it was so quiet, I didn't even know it was playing. Play a little bit longer than I had realized. And this one is almost the reverse of her age, 32 instead of 23. Part of me wants to keep it. Yeah, okay, cool. And you just made it easy. If that's inaccurate and you didn't actually leave, it looks like you did. Sorry, still enjoy the content. I appreciate you. But I'm going to keep this at 23 because I think that's maybe the age that she decided she wanted to be in heaven. But this symbology. I'm not doing this to disrespect any of her loved ones either. I'm doing it as the way that I process and accept. Okay, now I'm going to be over 32 minutes long, but whatever. Process and, I'm going to be over past 32. Now she's 24. No kidding. Process and accept her passing and her grief. And I'm not saying anything bad about her. I never would. As far as when we stopped talking for a couple of years, that was just our own lives doing their own things. And I totally know that she forgives me from the other side. It was also a matter of that, I was holding on to something that I shouldn't have. And I could have regrets, right? But I've decided not to let myself have those regrets. It's not worth it, And one thing that I can say is that with this example, she was going through her health problems. She was putting her attention into her work, into her family, into her, blended family even, and quite possibly didn't know that she was going to pass, or possibly rather did know that she was going to pass away at a young age. And when you have a condition, and you're doing your best to monitor it, and maybe sometimes, you're seeing things about it that make you anxious, and you have complications or whatever. Go into comas. Maybe she'd been in one. I mean, people usually don't come out of them the same way. But or um, I don't think she had any. She certainly didn't live. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm pretty sure. But whether I don't know. But the point of the matter is that you know Maybe she knew something that I didn't know, that the life expectancy for somebody with that is not very high. So although, I mattered to her, and she cared about me, um, you know, she had other distractions. And, being around her family and with her family and the friends that she saw more often was especially important to her. And I can accept that. So, just thanks for the song, bud. And I think I am going to wrap up. Starting to notice my sinuses saying stuff because of that log stream I did earlier, where to keep the momentum going, I was talking almost all of it, even if I was reading comments. Hopefully they showed. I'm actually kind of curious. It might be too soon because it was wonky, but they did show on my other device from Sailor George, from what was that Indian name? Not Pinto. Pinto? I think so. And one or two others. So, yes, always appreciate the comments and the love and the likes and, the subscribing and all that stuff. Um, I noticed that there's somebody along the top there right now looking like you're planning. Okay, there was. Like, yeah, until you pointed me, point your finger at me. They didn't say who you were. I didn't know who you were. They didn't say. And if you put yourself in the comments, it's kind of suggesting that I would say it's suggesting that you're okay with it, but just like people that post on YouTube, I'll say this one thing too, because, I do want this one to be a bit shorter, I think. Because some people can't watch the longer ones, and some people, even if they don't need to feel that with my content, might think if they don't watch the whole thing, they won't know what's going on. You can watch the whole thing and still not know what's going on, to be honest. Happens to me even, with my content. No, no, but seriously though, I'm fine with being organic as is, as needed, and as far as, and I've kind of, non-scripted, sense of humor, uplifting music, wellness. That's what this channel is about. And as far as what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, that, I'm fine with just, whoever sees this on their own accord. Unless you know somebody who would really resonate and relate to the content, um, especially the longer ones, because there's more stuff in it, then that's fine. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, that being said, I guess I feel a little bit mixed about that. I would love for some of my content to be noticed more and appreciated more and have conversations on it more. But, I don't need a lot of big numbers necessarily. And I'm thankful for what there is, what those that I do get, and that get me. Somebody was watching earlier and he said, we'll chat again. I'll watch again later. I've hit the notification bell before I'd even suggested it. Because, that's something you can do on YouTube. So, if after watching this and perhaps browsing some of my other live streams, you decide that you'd like to do that because you like what you're hearing and you're seeing and you'd like to engage with me, especially not be engaged to me, engage with me, then I welcome you to do that. All of the above. I don't know what that noise is I keep hearing. But I'm going to wrap up now and do other things. And I was happy that I got to tell you a little bit about my friend. Maybe I thought about this ages ago, about working on like a series of songs based on loved ones that have passed away. I talk about them sometimes, and what they meant to me and the connections and how it's different now. But putting it like I think I look at the photo once. I can't remember what video it was though, and it was maybe about I mean, it passed away 2 years ago, but it was maybe 2 months ago. Anyway, ish, but no, not gished, ish. Yeah, there was another one. I don't know where though. I'll try it next point. Maybe if we do it together, and I'll just say, here, I'll hand you some stuff. Like, why does this have a preferred line and one of those codes? I don't get it. Why do they put? I mean, it's because the paper they put one inside the other, but then, but then, um, the way we use them, they're a bit harder to get them out than if we need to. But we usually don't have a shortage. As long as the sticker cover is there, then it's fine. My chest is tight. I'm hearing a weird noise outside, and I'd rather cover it up with stuff I want to watch as well. But yeah. Oh, and there's that. I haven't seen, which would be easier to carry around the other time. I haven't seen that rub other than the one upstairs. If there's one on the couch chair or on the counter, Lord knows where. Okay, so now it is actually. So, yeah, let me wrap this up, please. And maybe tomorrow. Okay, perfect. It didn't take that long. Maybe tomorrow we'll focus on this a little bit more. I think I already see a few things I'm going to kind of put elsewhere tonight and kind of clear off some of this clutter. But if that's something you'd like to see, I'm just putting some muscle rub on my chest. I'm not trying to be weird. Anyway, if that's something that you'd like to see, feel free to check back tomorrow. And, it'll be chatting and probably music too, but I'll try and do some organizing. It's something that we all sometimes need to do, and sometimes being there for each other as we do it could be a helpful thing. What was the other thing? Okay, that was very interesting. It went 1, 2, and then I don't know if it was 3 and 4 at the same time. Now we're back down to 1. And I've got to say, the person who's here now, as I wave this around, is maybe meant to be here, So I hope that you will like the video, maybe introduce yourself. Now there's 2 of you here, and I always hate to wrap up when there's people here. I'm not telling anybody to go, but I am saying that I did a 5-ish hour stream earlier. Not that long ago, really, but I was inspired. Also, whatever that noise is outside, I don't know if it's a snowplow or a snowblower or something outside. It's noisy, and even my talking isn't drowning it out, and it's distracting me a little bit. I'm pretty sure it's not the fan in the laptop. But anyway, so I'm going to watch other stuff. It looks like you've all left. If you haven't, no, here. Anyway, I'm going to be wrapping this up, but you're welcome to check back from the beginning of the video in a few minutes once it's posted and watch it. I'd love to hear from you on my song and my poetry. I personally kind of liked how they fit together, although I don't know if content-wise they do. And then I wrote that, sometimes I have, I get stuck as a creative writer and all that, but sometimes I don't. So, I mean, I just spun that latter half of that out just before rolling. And like I say, the other half I did myself probably somewhere around 2 months ago. So there's lots of content on the channel to see, whether you watch a little bit of a video or all of it. So I'll leave you to that or whatever else you might want to do. But I hope you subscribed, and I hope you'll be back and that you do enjoy the content. So, and don't be shy to chat, okay? Alrighty. It looks like nobody's here at the moment. That was kind of weird that there was numbers or whatever. But yeah. In that same short time span, I mean, you could say it shouldn't be uncommon, but it's also on here. Algorithms don't always work, and it kind of is. Unless it's when the rare time I'm not looking at the screen, I see that fairly often. Maybe I'm not sure if the chat is working either. I see that I put some stuff there, and I see that, but I guess I'll just say to anybody who comes back to this or anybody who's here now that might be chatting. But one of them may have left because I said that chat may not be working. It might be, but you're more than welcome to put a comment after the video is finished too. and I would like to see that. Okay, so yeah, take care.